Hey, my name is Lance. I'm a recovered sex addict. This first episode is not a lesson or a list of steps, it's my story. It's what it was like. Over the last 10 years, I have spent over $500,000 chasing a feeling I could never hold on to. Sometimes it looked like strip clubs. Sometimes it was online fantasy worlds. Sometimes it was paid experiences, phone calls, chat rooms, hookups. Straight, gay, none of that really mattered because deep down it wasn't about sex. It was about escaping myself. It's strange to say that out loud now, but when you've lived long enough in denial, honesty feels like oxygen. So that's what this channel is about. Oxygen for people who have been suffocating in silence. My story started early. I was 10 years old, first time I saw pornography. I remember typing something innocent but curious in the search bar. Something a 10-year-old shouldn't even know to type. And in 1 second, the world went from black and white to color. It was excitement, curiosity, danger, all at once. For the first time, I felt like I had a secret, like I had control over something that was just mine. That's what hooked me. Not the images, the feeling. At that age, I didn't understand women. I didn't understand desire. I just understood that I felt alive for a few seconds and then ashamed. And that shame was the first seed of the addiction. My parents divorced when I was 2. They split custody 50-50, so I spent half of my life in one world, half in another. My mom's house felt safe but small. My dad's house looked perfect on the outside, big neighborhood, gates, golf carts, but it was empty on the inside. He worked constantly, and when he wasn't working, he was drinking, so I learned to entertain myself. ADHD made it hard to focus, school made me feel broken, I was on medication that gave me tics. It made me feel like something was wrong with me, and porn became my medicine, my escape hatch from reality. By 13, I was already acting out just to get attention. I thought if I could get someone to notice me, any kind of reaction, maybe I mattered. That's how it starts for a lot of men. It's not about lust, it's about significance. By 18, I was searching online for strangers. I didn't want connection, I wanted control. Because connection meant vulnerability, and I was terrified of that. When I was 18, I got my first girlfriend. I thought, finally, this will fix me. But she cheated on me, not once, not twice, but with 3 of my closest friends. That shattered something in me. After that, I told myself a story. Women can't be trusted, so I'll stay in control. And that story ran my life for years. At 19, I got sober from drugs and alcohol. People congratulated me. They said, "You're doing great. You turned your life around." But inside, I knew I just switched my addiction. I wasn't drinking anymore, but I was chasing the same feeling, that instant escape from pain. At 22, I was working in sales, successful on paper, driven, clean, but behind closed doors, I was living a double life. One night, I went to a massage. An innocent thing, I told myself. No intentions, no expectations. And something happened that night that changed everything. For the first time, I got exactly what my fantasy wanted. No rejection, no conversation, no risk, just instant relief. And in that moment, my brain said this is the answer. It felt like heaven. Not because of what happened, but because I didn't have to feel anything real. I didn't realize it then, but I had just found the perfect drug. One that required zero vulnerability. At first, it was once every few weeks, then once a week, then twice a week, then daily, then multiple times a day, sometimes with multiple people. I went into debt. I maxed out cards. I lied. I rationalized. And the crazy part, I told myself I was in control the whole time. Because I wasn't using substances, I was using me. I became an expert at compartmentalizing. There was daytime Lance, who was successful, charming, disciplined, and there was nighttime Lance, who was quietly self-destructing while pretending to be okay. Then life started collapsing around me. My dad passed away. 6 months later, my grandparents. My mom stopped talking to me. A year later, another grandparent gone, and then my brother cuts me off. In less than 2 years, I lost almost every person who'd ever made me feel like I had a family. And in that loneliness, I went deeper into the addiction than ever, because it was the only thing that didn't leave. The darker my world got, the more I tried to buy light. More money, more fantasy, more escape. And every time I walked out of a room or turned off a screen, I hated myself a little bit more. I'd sit there thinking, why do I keep doing this? I know it's killing me. I know it's ruining my life, but that's the thing. Knowing isn't enough. You can't think your way out of an emotional addiction. I wasn't addicted to pleasure. I was addicted to pain relief, to control, to certainty. Because in my childhood, control equaled safety. I thought I was chasing euphoria, but really, I was trying to escape the fear that no one would ever love me for who I really was. Eventually, I hit a wall. I couldn't hide the debt. I couldn't hide the shame. And I couldn't pretend I was working anymore, or it was working anymore. So I checked myself in a treatment center for sex addiction, and that's where everything started to change. They had me draw a timeline of my life. Every moment I acted out, every major loss, every trigger, every belief. It was the most humbling thing I've ever done. Looking at that paper, I realized something simple but life-changing. I've been trying to medicate needs I didn't even know I had. Porn met my need for certainty. Flirting met my need for significance. Fantasy met my need for variety. Paid affection met my need for connection, or at least the illusion of it. And once I understood why I was doing it, the spell started to break. Because you can't unsee truth. Once you see that the behavior was never about sex, it was about meeting your unmet needs, the illusion starts to crumble. That's when I started working with belief shifting tools. I learned how to question the stories that kept me stuck. The story that I'm broken. The story that I can't stop. The story I'm only worthy when I'm wanted. Bit by bit, I started meeting my needs in healthier ways through presence, purpose, connection, service, and honesty. And as I did, the old escapes lost their power. That's why I'm here now, to help other men do the same. I don't care if you're watching this still deep in the cycle, or if you've tried to quit 100 times. I'm living proof that it's possible. Not just to stop, but to not want to go back. Because once you learn how to meet your needs from the inside, they always stop working. They lose their magic. And you gain something better, peace, inner peace. This channel is going to be about that journey, about breaking down the psychology of addiction, the beliefs that keep you trapped, and the needs that drive every decision you make. The next episode, we're going to talk about those needs, certainty, variety, significance, love, growth, and contribution, and how every addictive behavior is just a misguided attempt to meet them. If my story hits home, subscribe, leave a comment, or just sit with this for a while. You're not broken, you're not evil, You're not alone. You're just trying to feel safe in a world that taught you to disconnect. And I promise you, there's another way. A way to turn pain into power, shame into strength, addiction into intimacy. That's what breakthrough intimacy is all about. And that's what we're going to do together.